Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'd like to invite everyone to take their seats. Also, could we have the class of 22 inductees make their way to the other side of the ballroom for a group photo? Once again, at this point, we invite all guests to take their seats. And if the class of 2022 inductees would make their way to the other side of the ballroom for a group photo.
Day after day, I'll always love you. Live just the same, I'll always love you. Dear one, your nearness is my treasure. Dear one, your kiss is rich as wine, and it's mine, yes, it's mine, the wonder of you. Yours, love is yours, because I love you. To you I give my heart so madly, madly beating, with every beat repeating, I'll always love you so. And it's mine, yes, it's mine, the wonder of you. Yours, love is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'd like to invite everyone to take their seats. And we would like all of the 2022 inductees to make their way to the opposite side of the ballroom for a group photo.
I'll always love you so.
to be you. It had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, or even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. Never be cross, try to be boss, they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a bill. With all your faults, I love you still. Baby, it had to be you, wonderful you, had to be you.
it's only a paper moon sailing over a cardboard sea. But it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Yes, it's only a canvas sky hanging over a...
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we do ask that all guests take their seats. Once again, we do ask that all guests take their seats so we can begin the event.
everyone for coming tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. And we want to welcome you to the Trinity Athletics Class of 2022 Hall of Fame induction ceremony and dinner. My name's Drew Galbraith. I'm the Director of Athletics and your host for this evening. It's a Trinity gathering, so we knew that that's how it was going to start. It's okay. First, I'd like to welcome all of our inductees, their families, our alumni, current former coaches, and all of our esteemed guests. We'd also like to welcome several previously inducted Hall of Fame members in attendance this evening. Charlie Sticka, class of 1956. Franny LeClaire, who's wife of Roger LeClaire, class of 60. Olivia Brown, class of 1978. George Brickley, class of 1979. And longtime athletic director Rick Hazelton. I'd also like to do a very special welcome to Secretary of the College Emeritus and a very proud member of the class of 1951, Jerry Hansen. We have one other Hall of Famer, Jay Williamson. We're so glad you could join us tonight. We're going to hear about 7 amazing individuals as we go through the evening. And we're also so excited to continue this newly formed tradition. Admittedly, we are, those of us who work at Trinity are very happy to be at events like this post-pandemic as we fought our way through them the last few years. It gives us a great opportunity to honor the rich tradition of Trinity student athletes that dates back all the way to 1856. We're proud to have celebrated 27 of our incredible alumni through our first 3 ceremonies and thrilled to add those 7 more well-deserving recipients to that list tonight. We cannot do what we do in athletics without the outstanding support we receive from the institution and our alumni. That stems from strong leadership, especially from our president, Joanne Berger-Strini, who unfortunately is ill and couldn't be with us tonight, as well as our Board of Trustees. To kick off our evening, it's my pleasure to introduce Lisa Bisaccia, Chair of Trinity's Board of Trustees.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's great to see you. I send regards from Joanne, who was unlucky enough to come down with COVID this week. After taking really good care for the last, been 2.5+ years, she is over the symptoms. She doesn't feel bad, but in the interest of safety, she really needed to quarantine a little bit more. But she sends her regards and promises to be here next year. I'm particularly happy to be here. As many of you know, I'm a Hartford native in addition to going to school at Trinity, but I come from a family that lived in Hartford on both sides for a long time. And this room is particularly special because in 1954, my parents held their wedding reception in this ballroom. Yeah, so kind of nice. So it seems particularly fitting that I'm coming back here to celebrate Trinity's long and storied athletic history, and in particular to honor some of the individuals who wrote that story. It seems wonderful. So together we've come here tonight to recognize the extraordinary athletic accomplishments of the 2022 class of inductees into the Trinity College Athletics Hall of Fame. These are, as they say, some of the best who have proudly worn the blue and gold uniform. And in celebrating them, we also acknowledge the role that athletics has long played, continues to play, and will continue to play in creating community and fostering generations of relationships at our school. This year is particularly noteworthy because it is also the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which opened the passing of that legislation opened so many doors for women to pursue their athletic dreams and ambitions. And tonight, you will hear how some of those dreams were realized right here on our campus. As the fourth class of Trinity Athletics Hall of Fame, the individuals that we will induct this evening were chosen from literally hundreds of well-qualified nominees. All of them exemplify three core aspects of the Trinity Athletics program: a commitment to excellence, dedication to teammates and others, and an enthusiastic embrace of the college's mission. And even as we prepare to celebrate these individual athletes, I want to take a moment to recognize the role that all of our coaches play as teachers and as mentors. Through their care, our student athletes are able to shine as brightly as they possibly can and often carry the bond with their coach well beyond graduation. So to the coaches. All of you have done Trinity proud, and we in turn are so proud of you. So I am unfortunately not able to stay with you this evening because I am actually leaving imminently for London to meet with Trinity alums there. I will pass on your good wishes and tell them they should come back and visit Hartford a little more often than they do. So let me offer my congratulations to all of our inductees, past and present. And with that, I will turn it back to Drew, saying only, go Bantams.
So how the evening will be organized, we're going to do some of our inductees right now. Then we'll take a break for dinner. We'll do a few more inductees, take a break for dessert, and then wrap up the evening. As we go through the evening, we'll have a video play for each inductee. Then they'll come up for some photos and then give an acceptance speech. So as we get started this evening, and it's always hard to go first, but I'd like to talk about our first inductee, a three-sport bantam whose records in the pool stood up for nearly 30 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Denise Jones.
From the class of 1980 in the sports of softball, swimming and diving, and track and field, Denise Jones.
I was a teacher and a coach at Hartford Public High School, and I met Denise in a swimming class. She had the most natural whip kick, breaststroke kick, of anyone you can imagine, and she was not on a competitive swim team prior to that. I was very persistent and encouraged her to come out for the swim team. I did not want that talent to go to waste. She was a born natural swimmer in breaststroke, which is probably the most difficult strokes to teach. No one had that natural propulsion force and the mechanical stroke that she had. She had an inner strength and a self-determination that she was going to succeed in the swimming pool, in the classroom. She did it in high school, and she certainly did it at college. Her Trinity coach, Chuck McPhee, she swam for him for 4 years. She kept on breaking records. She was improving all the time. She was a year on the track team, and then she was 2 years playing softball, and she carries everything over. She played softball in the Greater Hartford Women's Softball League, and she was an all-star 1985, 86, 87, just an amazing athlete. I think Coach McPhee is looking down with her in spirit and very proud of her. Like he said in the 1980 yearbook, they won many events and swim meets because of stupendous Denise Jones. She definitely belongs in the Trinity College Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating Denise Jones.
Thank you, Drew. So to those of you who know me, you probably know I love to talk, but giving speeches, not so much. To that end, I decided to thank those who along the way have become part of the team with who this honor is shared. First, thanks to my mom and basically all parents of a generation who told us to go outside and play. It's truly amazing to note that many of the skills that you need to be successful as an adult are first present on the playground. Next, a thank you to my 6th grade phys ed teacher who allowed me extra attempts to dive into the deep end and swim to the shallow end to pass my beginner swimming test. Unfortunately, I failed miserably. I was told I'd have to repeat the class the following year. I was absolutely horrified at the thought of being a 7th grader in a class of 6th grade beginners. That ultimately pushed me to take lessons over the summer at Pope Park so I could catch up to my classmates. Special thanks to former Hartford Public High School swim coaches and instructors Ralph Fiola for seeing a talent in me that I did not know existed, and Betty O'Connor Gunn, who's here tonight tormenting me, for pushing me to beyond limits I didn't think I could reach. Coach O'Connor believed in her swimmers even when we doubted ourselves. Thank you also to the late, great Trinity women's swim coach, Chet McPhee. Chet reluctantly took on the reins of the women's team in its infancy. Chet often worried that early on he didn't know how to coach women. He once said to me, "I have 2 sons at home and a wife. I certainly don't coach her." But as I said to him, "You still know how to coach," and he did. Chet took us from a 2-7 team our first year to a 6-4 team in the 4th year with many postseason accolades. And to all of my teammates who supported me in who supported each other through the ups and downs of our sports, thanks for pushing me when I needed it and backing off when I needed to figure it out myself. And finally, a special thanks to President Berger Sweeney, Athletic Director Drew Galbraith, and everyone on their staff behind the scenes and in front of house tonight who worked so diligently to pull together this event. Your hard work is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Our next inductee is a man who turned a part-time role into one where he became an instrumental leader of young men in the Trinity hockey program. Ladies and gentlemen, John Dunham.
Being honored as a coach in the sports of men's golf and men's ice hockey, John Dunham.
Early on, there was a gentleman by the name of Fred McCall who was really known as the father of Trinity hockey. Fred was the one that initially established the program. It was really a club program, but John was what I would call the 5-star general. John gave it legitimacy. John is and continues to be the essence of Trinity College men's hockey. I think one of the unique aspects of John is that he was not a full-time coach. John was raising a young family and was working full-time as an attorney for the state of Connecticut. The amount of time and effort that he had put into it really sort of translated into 2 full-time jobs, if you will. From carrying the pucks and worrying about the dirty uniforms and securing ice time. But he did have a pretty good support network, and I give his wife Susan a lot of credit. He was able to juggle all these aspects of his life. One of the more astounding accomplishments was the fact that John was able to recruit quality players against the more established programs in Division III, all without having a rink. It was his mentality that he didn't want to recruit smart kids who played hockey. He wanted to recruit hockey players who were smart. When we opened the new rink in 2006, he was the one that initiated this whole concept. And he was the one that rallied the troops from an organizational standpoint, from a financing standpoint. And now all of a sudden we had a rink on campus. This wouldn't have happened if John hadn't spearheaded the whole process. In my mind, Trinity men's hockey is the signature program in the NESCAC.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating John Dunham.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Drew, and thank you, Clint, for that very nice introduction. Besides being a very good player, Clint is a longtime friend of Trinity Athletics and is someone with whom Susan and I have developed a wonderful friendship over the years. So we're both of us are very appreciative of his kind words as we work together in a team effort to make this happen over many years. Let me begin by congratulating all the new inductees. The depth of our athletic talent is remarkable, and this group is no exception. And a big kudos to Drew Galbraith and Lindsay Micah, Assistant AD, for organizing this evening for all of us, and of course a special thanks to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this honor. An additional thank you to the former players who are here tonight, including Hall of Famers George Brickley and George J. Williamson, along with all those who have called, written, or emailed. I really appreciate it. You know, as we age and look back on the forks in the road we've taken, we realize that chance plays a big part in our lives. For me, the entire relationship for Trinity began by chance, starting in 1967 when I was in law school at UConn, and my wife Susan was hired as a programmer by the Travelers and assigned to a unit managed by a former Dartmouth hockey player named Jack Hurley. I'm so pleased that Jack, at 91 years young, is here with us tonight. Through Jack and playing in one of his evening groups, I met the Trinity Club coach and his friend, the late Ray Batson, and began to help Ray out at our night practices at Colts Park. And then in 1970, Ray decided to step aside, and our athletic director, Carl Kurth, offered me the job, which I accepted, really, in order to save the sport of hockey at Trinity. So what started by chance in 1967 to now be inducted into Trinity's Athletic Hall of Fame, as well as previously into the Brown University Athletic Hall of Fame, is certainly icing on the cake for an unplanned coaching career. Looking back, I'd like to recognize a few people who are no longer with us, but who helped things go in the early years. First of all, Clint already mentioned him, but the late Fred McCall from the class of 54, who basically funded the program out of his own pocket. And Fred created the Gold Stick Award for our leading scorer that goes back to 1968, which was one of the traditional awards for the program. So his name, will always remain with the program. And then Dick Ware, longtime treasurer of our Trinity Hockey Association, which was our fundraising arm, because in those days we had to raise almost all of our own money to put the team on the ice. Dick's wife Connie served as our director of development, and their son Phil, who was our stick boy in 1974, is here today, and that's pretty special to span the eras. And we also have and every year at the team's annual dinner, the Ware Award is presented to the junior or senior with the highest academic average. Moving on, I would like to recognize and thank another Hall of Fame. I missed one guy. I want to talk about Carl Kurth, the late Carl Kurth, our Hall of Fame athletic director, who in 1974 believed in me and made the decision to elevate hockey to a varsity sport from club status. That really got us going. Moving ahead, I'd like to recognize and thank another Hall of Fame athletic director, Rick Hazelton, who was so supportive of the program throughout its growth and gave so much good advice and counsel along the way in helping the program grow, as well as my friend and longtime assistant coach, Paul Davidson, who started with me in 1970. and is still with the program. Paul's calm demeanor and high hockey IQ were a big part of our on-ice successes. And I'll tell you a little story. One evening we had called a player in the coach's room who had some ability, but he really wasn't putting his oar in the water very deeply. And we talked to him about not cheating himself and all the things that talk to kids about. And Paul said to the boy, "Let me ask you a question. Tell me where's the only place that success comes before work?" And the kid was nonplussed. He didn't know what to say. And finally Paul said, "Try the dictionary." And the kid said, "I got the message, Coach. Thank you." Finally, I'm grateful for the many loyal alumni and parents who funded the program for over 30 years, for the contributions of assistant coaches, athletic trainers, equipment men, and rink folks who all helped to make it work out. And a special recognition and thanks goes to the Coppell family, especially Caleb, David, Sarah, and their late mother, Ruth, along with Ben Williams from the class of '58 and his children, David, Ralph, and Hope, whose generosity, along with others, made our beautiful arena, the Coppell Community Sports Center, and the Williams Rink a reality in 2006. And finally, the biggest thanks go to my wife, Susan, who has been my rock throughout this journey and is definitely the unsung hero of Trinity hockey. She's done everything from stuffing fund mailings to raise money, running a concession stand at the Kingswood Oxford rink to make money for the program, organizing team dinners, little things like sewing the C's on the captain's jerseys every year, and much, much more. But more importantly, she's handled my mood swings, kept me grounded, and provided a lot of sound advice, probably to keep me from doing some stupid things along the way, as we worked out a myriad of challenges to make this work. So I certainly owe her a deep debt of gratitude, as well as our daughter Jennifer, for putting up with me, because I don't think I was a very fun guy some of the time, especially on game day. But from the outset, my vision was to set the foundation for a winning, sustainable program, and to do so by building it the right way, by earning respect and credibility within the college hockey community and the Trinity community, and to do so with quality student athletes. So as a retired coach, it's so rewarding to see the program continue to grow and flourish, including an NCAA National Championship in 2015 under my former player and our current head coach, Matt Greason. Thank you. But let's face it, no coach gets to stand at this podium unless they've won a lot more games than they've lost. And yes, we've had some great teams and outstanding players, All-Americans, All-NESCACs, Trinity Hall of Famers. But the key to our on-ice success and our on-ice identity has always been the work ethic and the high compete level of our entire roster. So hats off to all the role players who competed their tails off, played with courage, and got the job done for us. and today Coach Greason's teams are no different. The bigger picture, however, is how many of these players took full advantage of Trinity's academic opportunities and made good career choices, all of which changed their lives for the better. It's so rewarding to see so many of their successes in so many fields, and I'm proud to say that 3 former players have served or are currently serving on our Board of Trustees: Peter Lawrence, Lou Shipley, and Peter Duncan. So let me wind down here, relate a quick story of a conversation I had with former President Evan Dobell some 20 years ago, which really gets to the essence of what coaching student athletes at Trinity is all about. One day at the Athletics Center, Evan and I happened to cross paths. After perfunctory hellos, he looked me in the eye and he said, "Coach, what is your purpose here?" Oh, I could answer that a lot of ways. But being a good lawyer and thinking on my feet, I said, "Evan, think of every student's college experience as a wheel with many spokes. Playing hockey is just one spoke in the wheel of our players' Trinity experiences. My job is to make their hockey experience a positive one." And Evan replied, "Coach, I think you've hit the nail on the head." So, in closing, looking back on a 37-year relationship here, I've truly enjoyed the run and have many priceless memories. Let me close by saying this: how much I appreciate the many friendships that I have made with fellow coaches, administrators, and former players. How thankful I am that chance and good fortune involved me with Trinity many years ago, and how grateful I am that Trinity has played such a big part in my life. Thank you for your attention. Good night.
Congratulations to Denise and Coach Dunham. We'll now have dinner and then be back in a little while for our next 3 inductees.
Never know how much I love you, never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, a fever all through the night. Sun lights up the daytime, moon lights up the night. I light up when you call my name, and you know I'm gonna treat you right. You give me fever when you kiss me, fever when you hold me tight. Fever in the morning, a fever all through the night. Everybody's got the fever, that is something you all know. Fever isn't such a new thing, fever started long ago. Romeo loved Juliet, Juliet she felt the same. When he put his arms around her, he said, Julie, baby, you're my flame, now give us fever. When we kiss it, fever with thy flaming youth. Fever, I'm a fire, fever, yea, I burn forsooth. Captain Smith and Pocahontas had a very mad affair. When her daddy tried to kill him, she said, Daddy, oh, don't you dare give me fever. With his kisses, fever when he holds me tight. Fever, I'm his missus. Daddy, won't you treat him right? Now you've listened to my story. Here's the point that I have made. Chicks were born to give you fever, be it Fahrenheit or centigrade, they give you fever. When you kiss them, fever, if you live, you learn. Fever, till you sizzle. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn.
Honey, you are a rock upon which I stand, and I come here to talk. I hope you understand. The green eyes, yeah, the spotlight shines upon you. And how could anybody deny you? I came here with a load, and it feels so much lighter now I met you. And honey, you should know that I could never go on without you. Green eyes, honey, you are the sea upon which I flow, and I came here to talk.
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she woos me. I don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. Somewhere in her smile, she knows that I don't need no other lover. Something in her style that shows me don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in how. You're asking me, will my love grow? I don't know, I don't know. You stick around now, it may show. I don't know, I don't know. Come away with me in the night. Come away with me and I will write you a song. Come away with me on a bus. Come away where they can't tempt us with their lies. And I want to walk with you on a cloudy day in fields where the yellow grass grows knee high. So won't you try to come away with me and we'll kiss on a mountain top. Come away with me and I'll never stop loving you. Come away with me in the night. Come away with me.
Can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you. Song is meant to keep you doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. We could pretend it all the time, yeah. And can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. But just maybe like a ukulele, mama made a baby. Really don't mind the practice, 'cause you're my little lady. Lady, lady, love me, 'cause I love to lay you lazy. We could close the curtains, pretend like there's no world outside. Then we could pretend it all the time, Lord. And can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Can't you see, can't you see? Rain all day and I don't mind. But the telephone's singing, ringing, it's too early, don't pick it up. We don't need to, we got everything we need right here, and everything we need is enough. Just so easy when the whole world fits inside of your arms. Do we really need up slow. Wake up slow. But baby, you hardly even notice when I try to show you this song is meant to keep you from doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now. And we could pretend it all the time, yeah. And can't you see that it's just raining? There ain't no need to go outside. Ain't no need, ain't no need. Rain all day and I really, really, really don't mind. Can't you see, can't you see? You gotta wake up slow. I know she said it's alright, but you gon' make it up next time. I know she knows it's not right. There ain't no use in lying. Maybe she thinks I know something. Maybe she thinks it's fine. Or maybe she knows something I don't. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of trying. It seems to me that maybe it pretty much always means no. So don't tell me. You might just let it go. Oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way. 'Cause no one likes to be let down. I know she loves the sunrise. No longer sees it with her sleeping eyes. And I know that when she said she's gonna try, well, it might not work because of other ties. And I know she usually has some other ties. And I wouldn't wanna break them. I wouldn't wanna break them. Maybe she'll help me to untie this. But until then, well, I'm gonna have to lie to you. It seems to me that maybe it pretty much always means no. So don't tell me. You might just let it go. And oftentimes we're lazy. It seems to stand in my way. 'Cause no one likes to be let down. It seems to me that maybe it pretty much always means no. So don't tell me. You might just let it go. Harder that you try, baby, the further you'll fall. Even with all the money in the whole wide world. Please, please, please don't pass me. Please, please, please don't pass me. Please, please, please don't pass me by. Every know about me now, baby, you're gonna have to change. You're gonna call it by a brand new name. Ooh, please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me down. Just like a tree down by the water, baby, I shall not move. Even after all the silly things you do. Please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me. Please, please, please don't drag me down.
I knew a girl, her name was Truth. She was a horrible liar. She couldn't spend one day alone, but she couldn't be satisfied. When you have everything, you have everything to lose. She made herself a bed of nails, and she's planning on putting it to use. But she had diamonds on inside. She had diamonds on inside. Diamonds. A candle throws its light into the darkness. In a nasty world, so shines a good deed. Make sure the fortune that you seek is the fortune that you need. So tell me why the first ask is the last to give every time. What you say and do not mean follows you close behind. She had diamonds on inside. She had diamonds on inside. She wore diamonds on inside. Like a soldier now, standing under fire. Any change comes as a relief. Let the giver's name remain unspoken, for she is just a generous thief. But she had diamonds on inside. She
understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I want to stop. Thank you, baby. I want to stop. And thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, seems I've been there before. But you're bright enough for me all of my days. Love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop. Thank you, baby. I just wanna stop. Thank you, baby. Oh, yes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. It's just like sugar sometimes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Whoa, yeah. You were better to me than I was to myself. For me, there's you, and there ain't nobody else. I wanna stop. Thank you, baby. I just wanna stop. And thank you, baby. Oh, yes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Oh, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. It's like jelly, baby. Oh, yeah. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Just like honey to the bee, baby. Yeah, now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you.
There was a time I was everything and nothing all in one. When you found me, I was feeling like a cloud across the sun. I need to tell you how you light up every second of the day. But in the moonlight, you just shine like a beacon on the bay. And I can't explain, but there's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. It's that feeling I get about you deep inside. And I can't describe, but it's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. The way you look tonight.
deepest secrets from my heart. In all honesty, I'm speechless and I don't know where to start. And I can't explain, but it's something about the way you look tonight. Oh, it takes my breath away. It's that feeling I get about you deep inside. And I can't describe, but it's something about the way you look tonight. Takes my breath away. The way you look tonight. 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 The way you look tonight.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. I'm not one of those who can easily hide. Don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, or a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is your song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down the words. How wonderful life is while you're in the world. I sat on the roof and kicked out the moss. Well, a few of the verses, well, they've got me quite cross. But the sun's been quite kind while I wrote this song. It's for people like you that keep it turned on. So excuse me for getting, but these things I do, you see, I've forgotten if they're green or they're blue. Anyway, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the sweetest eyes I've ever seen. And you can tell everybody
this is the song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world. I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in the words how wonderful life is while you're in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be resuming the program in about 5 minutes, so this is your chance to take your seats and enjoy your meal. Once again, we'll be starting back up in about 5 minutes, so if you would kindly take your seats and enjoy your meal.
I hope you understand the green eyes, yeah, the spotlight shines upon you. And how could anybody deny you? I came here with a load, and it feels so much lighter now I met you. And honey, you should know that I could never go on without you. Green eyes, honey, you are the sea upon which I flow, and I came here to talk. I think you should know the green eyes. You're the one that I wanted to find. And anyone who tried to deny must be out of their mind. Because I came here with love, and it feels so much lighter since I met you. Honey, you should know that I could never go on without you. Green eyes, oh, 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 oh. Honey, you are a rock upon which I stand. expected the world, but it flew away from reach, and the bullets captured her teeth. Life goes on, it gets so heavy, the wheel breaks the butterfly. Every tear a waterfall. In the night, the stormy night, she closed her eyes. In the night, the stormy night, away she flies. And dream of
Don't go changing to try and please me. You never let me down before. Don't imagine you're too familiar, and I don't see you anymore. I would not leave you in times of trouble. We never could have come this far. I took the good times, I'll take the bad times. I take you just the way you are. Need to know that you will always be the same old someone that I knew. Oh, what will it take till you believe in me the way that I believe in you? I said I love you, that's forever. This I promise from the heart. I couldn't love you any better. I love you just the way you are.
We are going to resume our program now. As we resume this evening, we'll, as a reminder, we'll move through 3 inductees now. And all 3 of these inductees have a special connection to Philadelphia, so this will be, I'm sure we'll hear a lot of Philadelphia stories here soon. We now have a bantamwoman who starred across 3 sports, earning All-American status in squash, winning 4 NIAC championships between field hockey and lacrosse. Ladies and gentlemen, Kat Castle-Grant.
From the class of 1985 in the sports of field hockey, squash, and lacrosse, Kat Castle-Grant.
Kat, in my mind, exemplifies what people talk about when we use the term the joy of competition. She cherished every moment. She practiced at game speed. She thrived under pressure in a game. In field hockey and lacrosse, we didn't have the NCAAs, so NIACs was our dream every season. I can only speculate that if Kat and her teammates had the opportunity to go to the NCAAs, what would have, could have been. One of her teammates, she described Kat as hardworking, humble, and fierce, and said that Kat used her competitive spirit for the ultimate success of the overall team. I couldn't agree more. Although I didn't coach Kat during her winter squash season, I know that her senior year she received the Virginia Kurth MVP award. I also know that she competes in squash to this day, and every time I see a picture of her, she's holding a trophy. So the excellence continues. As we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Title IX, I have to thank Kat Castle for all that she's contributed to women's sports at Trinity. Our female athletes, no doubt, today stand on Kat Castle's shoulders.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kat Castle-Grant.
I'm sure you heard my daughters over there laughing at every single photo. Thank you to the 80s and the 15-pound weight gain. I would come in the fall extremely fit and thin, and by spring, you saw that with the lacrosse stick in my hand. I have to say, this was the most stressful thing I have ever had to do compared to any competition in my life. But good evening. I would like to thank Joanna Berger-Sweeney, Athletic Director Drew Galbraith, the Hall of Fame Induction Committee, and Robin Shepard for my introduction. I am truly humbled and grateful to be included with all these accomplished athletes as we celebrate together the induction to the Hall of Fame. A sincere congratulations to you all. I would also like to thank my family who have traveled to be here with me tonight. Thank you to my girls Emily, Catherine, and Elizabeth, who have continued to encourage me to fulfill my athletic endeavors, and to my husband Alan, who has been an endless support in not only my athletic career, but our life together as well. I'd also like to thank my parents, Joe and Sally Castle, along with my siblings, yes, Sally and Joe. Mom, who was not able to be here tonight, thank you for driving me all those years to all of my matches and games without a word of regret or hesitation. Dad, I know that you are beaming right now with such pride and joy, a cigar in one hand and a gin martini in the other. My parents loved coming to Trinity for all of my games, and let me tell you, when you play 3 sports a year, they might as well have moved in with me. I couldn't wait to enjoy time with my parents after a game, no matter the outcome. To be honest, I'm not sure if they came for the sport or for the drinks that followed, and there were many of them. They were such amazing supporters of this college, and they expressed it immensely through their philanthropic efforts to the squash community. Not only is my former teammate Priscilla Altmeyer here tonight to support me, and I also see Betsy Jones, Ginny Jans, Pam Ingersoll, Tracy Swecker, so many people. It's really exciting. I know they're mainly here for Robin. But anyhow, but one of my biggest cheerleaders of all is Jerry Hansen. Thank you, Todd, for bringing Jerry here tonight. Jerry saw potential in me at a young age and never stopped cultivating it. Even when he took the position at Trinity, I think he secretly hoped I'd join him in Hartford. I am so thankful that I did, and our special relationship continues to this day. Thank you, Jerry. As we celebrate 50 years of Title IX, I marvel at the progress women's sports here at Trinity has endured. Athletes no longer have to dribble a ball along a pothole-ridden grass field in double-knit shirts and short shorts that left 0 room for your freshman 15 weight. But Robin, I do blame you for the uniforms and the 80s. No longer do the athletes have to wear their parkas inside the squash courts because the snow is billowing through the grates on the tin, or have back bruises from sit-ups on concrete floors. Wendy Bartlett, you remember those days. But I would like to thank Wendy for her dedication all these years to squash and for growing the program to where it is today. It's been truly remarkable. Thank you. And to you, Robin, thank you for your leadership and being such a fabulous coach. I am honored to be inducted with you on such a special night. Because of your guidance, I had the tenacity to pursue my sporting career post-college and continue to push women's sports to new heights. To my teammates, not only were you the biggest support on the field, but off the field as well. Excuse me. We were a raucous group with tons of talent and had each other's backs through and through. While we had fun, and trust me, we had a lot of fun. The banquets were epic, can't go into them though. We knew when it was time to put our heads down and do the work. No matter win or lose, we loved the game, and we loved playing it for Trinity College. Again, I am so honored to be here tonight and give thanks to my alma mater that so greatly changed my life in the best of ways. Thank you.
Congratulations, Kat. Next up, we have an All-American lacrosse star whose time at Trinity brought him to the professional game as a graduate. Please join me in honoring Scott Groutney.
From the class of 1981 in the sports of lacrosse and soccer, Scott Groutney.
He was a dominant player, certainly the best player on Trinity's team at the time, one of the best players in Division III for sure, and he was one of the best players nationally, any division.
He was the guy that always wanted the ball when it was critical, and by the way, we always wanted to get him the ball because we knew the results would be great.
You know, almost brings back chills remembering in huge moments, in huge games to continue advancing through the tournament back then. He'd say, you know, give me the ball, and he would light it up.
He had a nose for the goal, but I mean, Quite frankly, I think Scott loved a beautiful assist, and I was the beneficiary of a number of his passes.
As I think about what made Scooter Scooter, he had an energy that when he showed up in the huddle, this positive kinetic energy was infectious. He sort of would bound into the huddle with all of us getting there ready to go out and play, and this energy would just sort of capture all of us.
One of the best teammates I've ever had. Just an amazing athlete, amazing lacrosse player. I thought I was a pretty good lacrosse player, and then I met Scott, and he loves the sport. It's unbelievable. I mean, the guy played professional lacrosse after college, and he's stuck with it. He always thought that we could win. He always thought it was just a matter of more effort, and he never gave up.
He also at the time had stick skills that were sort of unparalleled. Dominant back then, but he's one of the few guys who I think, like a Wilt Chamberlain, if you will, can play almost in any era. He was something really special. Special. He absolutely deserves to be the first lacrosse player, in my view, to get into the Trinity Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Growney.
Wow, that's a tough act to follow. Thank you, Peter. And thank you to Peter, who's not here tonight. We've got two Peters here. Peter Miller and Peter Duncan both helped with that montage, so I'm grateful for that. Peter Duncan, actually, quite an athlete in his own right, is actually off the coast of England right now, captaining a boat in an international yacht race, so that's pretty cool. And he would be here too if he could to celebrate the induction of Coach Dunham as well. I'd like to I've got lots of thank yous to John Holt. John Holt is the gentleman who put the videographer who put the montage together. And when he asked me for materials, I actually was quite concerned that I might not have enough. And I gave him what I did, and he was able to kind of spin it into something that is quite credible. So I thank him for that. Although I was kind of hoping he wouldn't use the picture of me with the Dutch boy look. I don't know whether it's I'm not sure what I was thinking, but I was trying to figure it out. And I'm thinking, maybe I did that so that the defenders would not take me seriously, and that gave me a little bit of an edge. So. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this honor. I'm thrilled to celebrate this moment with the rest of the inductees. It really is quite a great class. And thank you to Drew and to Lindsay and to David Kingsley as well for their help, support, and guidance, and in helping us prepare for this. I wanted to thank the president, Berger Sweeney, as well. She's a neuroscientist. So she knows about the limbic system. Well, the limbic system controls fight or flight. So my limbic system is really active right now. And if Coach Alciante was here, and he was here earlier for the cocktails, he would have told me to run to the roar, Scott, run to the roar. So you've heard about the 50 years of Title IX. We're also celebrating the 200th anniversary of the school, which is pretty cool. The fruits of the legislation's labor is here tonight, and it's not just among the inductees. I know the focus is supposed to be on me at the moment, but before going on, permit me to recognize the real lacrosse star in the family, and that would be my daughter, Scotty Rose. Some of you know that she's fresh off an undefeated Division I national championship season at North Carolina. And she scored the winning goal in the championship game against Boston College. So it's been a good year for the Groundings lacrosse-wise, for sure. I learned a lot over the last 5 years with following Scotty and her team, and her coach Jen Levy, who is a wonderful coach. She's being inducted into the National Hall of Fame next month. But she's a Zen master, and she has, just all these sayings, all these anecdotes, all these adages. I remember meeting her when we were going through the recruiting process, and I just, I was so impressed that she had such a command. But one of the ones that she liked to use, and this was probably one of my daughter's favorites, was, be where your feet are, which is another way of saying, embrace the moment, optimize the moment, and do your best. So I'm proud that my feet are here among this great group of people, those who are being inducted, and everybody who's here in support. So thank you very much. That's great. I look back at my journey, and I consider the prologue and the options and the opportunities and the multitude of life-changing scenarios. Anything could have happened, really. It's the law of nonlinear dynamics. You don't necessarily plan on things, or when you do, things change. It's also known as chaos theory. It's a wonder that my feet ended up at Trinity, honestly. I wanted to tell you a little bit about that. I feel like David Byrne in the movie Stop Making Sense, when he gets up there in his big suit and says, "How did I get here?" Well, how did I get here? I was actually heading to Washington and Lee. I actually had been recruited to play lacrosse at Washington and Lee. They were a Division I national power in the 70s. They were coached by a Hall of Famer by the name of Jack Emmer, actually a good friend of Coach Asiante's. Jack Emmer encouraged me to come and play there. I wasn't sure that I could play there, but I sent in the deposit when I was accepted, and I was locked and loaded. I had no lax accolades at all. I didn't start playing until I was in 10th grade. And I was on the fourth midfield line of the Harriton High School JV. That's not necessarily going to get you recruited to college. But I improved. I worked at it. I improved. I got good. And I finally had some lacrosse accolades that came in, after my senior year. That was a little too late for the recruiting process, but Washington Lee wanted me, and I was locked and loaded there. It's funny because I was also very close to pursuing a soccer path. I was recruited at Duke to play soccer, and I had lots of credentials in soccer, none in lacrosse, and I was accepted at Duke. I was not accepted at Trinity. I applied to Trinity. I was not accepted at Trinity. I was on the waiting list. And, I really liked Trinity, New England liberal arts education, the whole thing. But I was on the waiting list. And, it's sort of a purgatory of sorts, and it was I was moving on. And then all of a sudden, there was a bit of divine intervention. And that divine intervention came in the form of the Trinity's new director of development. And he's been recognized a couple times tonight. But I'd like to recognize him again because that person was Jerry Hansen. Jerry, I hope you don't mind telling everybody that you're 93 years old. And when I spoke to you a couple weeks ago, you told me that it was not likely that you were going to be able to make it. And I just said, we got to figure this out. Well, Jerry and his family figured it out, and Todd, his son Todd, was the savior. And he flew up from, was it South Carolina and North Carolina, and drove up here, and that's the reason we have Jerry here tonight. So thank you, Todd. Thank you very much. So he calls my parents. He was from Philadelphia. They were friends, and he says, "Don't fret, really. Just be patient. We'll get him off the waiting list. He needs to come to Trinity, and he could really help. He could play two sports. he said, let me talk to him. So I got on the phone with Jerry. And Jerry said, well, Scott, that's great. You know, Washington Lee, that's great, really. But isn't W&L all male? Not that there's anything wrong with it. So he knew exactly how to play upon my insecurities of whether I could even play at that level. So before you knew it, I was on my way. I kissed my W&L deposit goodbye, and I was on my way to play soccer, lacrosse, and to enjoy the diversity of a co-ed school located in Hartford to get that New England liberal arts education I wanted. He knew all the angles. Thank you, Jerry. I'd be remiss not to acknowledge the role of another person. As a former high school teammate, actually lived down the road from me in Gladwin, Pennsylvania. There are a lot of people from Gladwin here tonight, by the way, which is great. His name is Doug Bennett, and I visited him, when I was looking at Trinity, and he showed me a very good time. I think an AD party had something to do with that. But I told him that I was actually looking at Middlebury too. Now, my dad wanted me to look at Middlebury. My dad said, I think they're a really good program. I think you should consider Middlebury. You can play, sports up there. It's a great school. I said that to Doug, and Doug just said, no, don't even think about it. Middlebury is terrible lacrosse team. They're just absolutely horrible. So, of course, Middlebury ends up winning 3 out of 4 of the next, ECAC tournaments, during my Trinity tenure. So one of those wins actually included a barn burner of a championship game my junior year. The problem is I can't tell you too much about it because I don't remember much about it. A very strong, large Middlebury defenseman knocked me unconscious in that game in the fourth quarter. So it was apparently time for the reckoning. The Creator works in very mysterious ways. But Doug, just for the record, what happened clearly in today's vernacular would be misinformation. But that's okay. So not only are my feet at Trinity, there's a saying I like to use, grow where you're planted. I tell this to all the kids I coach, tell the parents. They're anxious about the recruiting process. And for good reason. It's pretty intense. I said, just relax. Don't sweat it. Wherever you end up, you're gonna do great. So chance and circumstances ensured I'd be planted at Trinity. The thing about Trinity was that, we had, in those years, we had a convergence of some really great athletes. And they came together, and we fielded a team that was so competitive. I mean, we were really, really good. We made the ACAC tournament 3 out of 4 times. We could not go to the NCAA. I'm sure that we could have gone to the NCAA. I'm sure we would have done pretty well. What was really fun was that we actually got to play beneath the elms and also beneath the chapel. And we played while the chimes and the organ was playing. I mean, who gets a chance to do that? That was like almost spiritual. Our offense was coordinated actually with the music. It was really incredible. That was the courtesy of Coach Dar. We weren't necessarily, known around the country. Today everybody's got a name and that's what it's about. But we played for Trinity. But our names, I just want to list some of the names of my teammates over the years. Mad Dog, I'm going to give you their nicknames. Mad Dog and Fido, LJ, Clint, Brown, Kegger, Lansbury, D. Bones, Plummer, McGowan, Stewart, Billy Miller, Bills, Dunk, Yarney, Smitty, Austin, Vaughters, Briggs, Burmo, Smitty, Petey, Mills, so many others who deserve mention. I really thank all my teammates for the time that we spent together, the camaraderie, and for being here, many of you for being here tonight. I I'm really grateful. Thank you. A shout out to my coaches too. We heard about Chet McPhee. He was a wonderful man. He was coach my freshman year, and then Mike Darr became the head coach at Trinity. And I'm so glad that he's with us tonight. You know, in my mind's eye, I still see Coach Darr, you know, wearing a bandana. I don't know why. You know, he was so cool. You know, he was so calm, and you know, the thing that was best about Coach Darr and his approach was that, you know, he kind of let us have fun. We just had fun. You know, he let the chemistry develop. He let us sort of seek our own level, and that's what we did. And we sought a very high competitive level. But that was courtesy of Coach Darr and his approach. Thank you, Coach. So I didn't get in to Trinity immediately. I got off the waiting list, but I just want to correct a few things, or say a few things for the record. I don't think there are any missions folks here. You know, no one will take any offense. But I graduated from Trinity with honors, and I did it without writing a thesis. And I think, you know, back in the day, I think it was recommended or required that you write a thesis, but I didn't do that. So I must have slipped through the cracks again there. But my favorite memory academically was as a teaching assistant for one of the most popular courses at the school. It was The Rise of Modern Russia. So, and it's interesting how that happened too. In response to a professor's question, I named a river that ran through Warsaw, Poland. I didn't pronounce it right. I totally butchered it, but I got the river right. And the professor asked to see me after the class. And then in there, after class, he asked me to be his teaching assistant next time he taught the course. That professor was Dr. Samuel Cassow, and I'm happy that he's here tonight. And I want to thank him for the validation and for helping my limbic system way back when. Thank you, Dr. Cassow. I'm sorry I never pursued the Rhodes Scholarship that you recommended. That was a little over the top, but I have been a Bolshevik. I have been a Bolshevik in the growth of the game, and I owe that to what I learned from you in The Rise of Modern Russia. Thank you. So lacrosse is for me, and it is for everybody. It's a very spiritual sport. It was gifted to us by the Native Americans who believe that it was they call it the Creator's game. It came from the Creator, and I think there's something magical about the game, and I'm sure those of us here tonight who played, you know, understand it as well. The game is actually on fire. But I never would have experienced it or enjoyed it but for the support of my mom and my dad, for sure. My dad's gone. Somehow I feel his presence right now, but because he never missed anything. But my mom's here, and Mom, just let me formally apologize for breaking all the windows at home. I know. I repaired them right away. I got real good at glazing, but you know, it's a big game. My family, everyone in my family played. My sisters, Patrice and Doss, were great players. Doss at Lafayette, Patrice at Penn State. They're both married. Their kids played lacrosse. Doc Aiken, some of you might know the names, three-time first-team All-American, won 2 national championships at Virginia. His sister Sky was recruited at Richmond. She started the women's club program there. Riley was an all-Big Ten defenseman. And my brother Steve, who's here tonight, he was speaking of defense, was probably one of the best defensemen I ever played against. He was absolutely brutal. He played at F&M. He was an All-American there. And I often wonder what it would have been like if he and I had the opportunity to play together at Trinity. It really would have been a great experience. My boys, Colton and Chase, both play lacrosse. Colton was the MVP at Williams when he was there. Chase actually broke one of my, I think it was an assist record. So I'm proud of my kids. And of course, I mentioned Scotty Rose. I'd also like to just say something about my wife, McCall. She's kind of the outlier. She did not play lacrosse. She actually never saw me play. Actually, correction. She saw me play one time. It was a summer league game. And in the first quarter, my hand got smashed by some defenseman. I ended up in the emergency room of the Bryn Mawr Hospital. So she did not. That's all she saw. She saw me and my hand, which needed probably a couple hundred stitches to put back together. But in a way, lacrosse brought us together because my friend who introduced us told her that I played professional box lacrosse with Philadelphia Wings. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a flash in the pan. It was a lot of fun, but it was a flash in the pan. But it did do one thing, and that was help introduce me to my wife, who was actually dating a Philadelphia Flyer at the time. And for all the hockey people out there, it was Brian Propp. But somehow we hit it off, and we've been married for almost 34 years. So I'm happy that I was able to grow where my feet were planted, where my feet were, and it's been a great journey. The fields at Friendly Stripe at Trinity were the place for me, even though it was very nip and tuck at the beginning. So I guess the maxims are true, right? Patience is a virtue, and sometimes good things come to those who have to wait. The rest, they say, is history. Go Bants, fear the chicken, and thank you.
Next, we welcome another powerhouse of the field hockey and lacrosse teams. This honoree had a nose for goal and earned All-American honors in field hockey, leading the Bantams to their first NCAA Final Four. Please turn to the video screen for Lindsay Davison-Page.
From the class of 1994 in the sports of field hockey and lacrosse, Lindsay Davison-Page.
When Lindsay Davison chose Trinity, she was following in the footsteps of her father John, her Aunt Beth, and her older sister and teammate Christina. It was a true Davison Bantam brigade, and Trinity athletics was never the same. When Lindsay got the ball, good night, Irene. She oftentimes ended up in the goal cage with the ball when she scored. Her explosive speed, and I would dare say Division I speed, and her ability to control the ball very close to her feet without making any fouls. Coaches from the other teams could not figure out how to stop her. Because she was such a standout in our field hockey program, I think sometimes we all forget how critical Lindsay was to our lacrosse program. She was lightning fast and aggressive. She still ranks 5th in our record book of goals per game in a season. In '93, Trinity field hockey went all the way to the Final Four. Lindsay, in my mind, was instrumental in opening the door for our current Trinity athletes to pursue the best of the best, to pursue that NCAA competition and excel. Lindsay held almost every field hockey scoring record for 24 years. To accomplish that with fewer games, and oh, by the way, on grass, is indicative of why she's being inducted into the Trinity Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lindsay Davison Page.
Thank you so much, Robin. I'm so honored to be up here, and to have you introduce me is truly special. Robin, you taught me so much more than skills on the field. You pushed me to be the best version of myself. My parents spent 6 years on the sidelines, and as a result, you really became part of our family. Everyone knew who Robin was. But we as players also became part of your family. You are the common thread that ties your players together. It's like being part of a club. We all have that bond and understanding of what it means to have played for you. Thank you to President Berger Sweeney and Drew Galbraith and Lindsay and the whole team for putting together such a special evening. Thank you to Rick Hazelton, who was the athletic director throughout my 4 years at Trinity. I also want to congratulate my other Bantams for being recognized tonight. I'm grateful to be in your company. Trinity was my dream school. My dad went here, class of 67, my aunt, class of 80, and my sister too. She was a junior when I arrived at Trinity. I felt so incredibly lucky to attend Trinity and have been able to play through 3 sports. So I'm particularly humbled for this recognition because it's the exact gift that Trinity gave to me. I did play 2 years of squash under Wendy, and I really wasn't that great of a squash player. But because of the success and longevity Wendy and her team has had, and Coach A and his team has had, my street cred has gone way up. I tell people in Philadelphia that I played squash at Trinity, and they're like, wow, you must be really good. I played 4 years of field hockey and lacrosse under Robin. And Robin mentioned the success that we had in field hockey in '93 to be a part of the first Trinity team to go to the NCAAs. It really was an incredible experience. Reflecting back and thinking about the anniversary of Title IX, I thought about all the female athletes that came before me. It was a different time for them. They wore used men's uniforms. They had to write their own articles for the Trinity Tripod. My aunt even told me she had to walk through the men's locker room to get to the training room. The success that we had and that the teams continue to have, in part, is due to the women trailblazers that came before us, and for that I say thank you. The '93 season really was thrilling, but I have to say my fondest memory was finally beating Williams in Williamstown for the ECAC finals in '92. The outpouring of support we got after that game from past players and parents was incredible. Robin made this amazing scrapbook for me my senior year, which included letters from Jerry Hansen, who was always so proud and supportive of me and my sister. I would not have any success if it weren't for my teammates. I would never have gotten the ball if it weren't for players like my sister blowing by her opponents in the midfield, or Braxton Jones, one of the most talented athletes with the best field sense of anyone I've ever played with, or Lexi Rice, who could hit the ball from our field across Broad Street, and that was on grass. That's just to name a few. There were so many other super talented players. I also wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support of my family and friends, some of which are here tonight. My best friend Skylar and her husband Brent are here. Sky was my biggest fan. No matter the elements, she never missed a game. My dear friend Jennifer Hall, class of '91, supported both Christina and I on and off the field. My Uncle Larry and Aunt Beth, class of '80, who was one of those trailblazers I mentioned earlier. And my sisters, Christina and Amanda, and brother-in-law, Rob. are all here tonight. It's Christina's son's Max's 13th birthday today, and Amanda and Rob left 3 kids at home. And I really tried to get them out, give them the out, but they said they would not miss it for the world. I love you guys. My parents, they've been my biggest supporters. They've rarely missed a game, and my dad always pacing the sideline and mom cheering from the bleachers. I'm so proud to have my husband, Blakely, with me tonight. Thank you so much for being so proud of me. Love you tons. My kids are here, Bo, Brittany, and Lucy, and they all love sports as much as I do. I know how proud my parents were watching me and my sisters, because that's how I feel watching you guys play. I'm truly, truly blessed with such an incredibly tight, wonderful family. Earlier this summer, my son, Bo, verbally committed to Trinity to play lacrosse and squash. So, fingers crossed, this time next year we'll be moving him in. And I just have to say, shout out to my girls over there, my teammates. Thank you for being here. You guys are the best. So thank you for this amazing honor, and thank you to Trinity College.
We're going to take a short break for dessert service and then come back for our last 2 inductees.
You just the way you are. Against me, and gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, I'll never know what makes this man with all the love that his heart can stand. Dream of ways to throw it all away. Whoa, whoa. Gravity is working against me, and gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, twice as much ain't twice as good, and can't sustain like one half could. It's wanting more that's gonna send me to my knees. Oh, twice as much ain't twice as good, and can't sustain like one half could. It's wanting more, it's gonna send me to my knees. Whoa, whoa. Gravity, stay the hell away from me. Whoa, whoa. Gravity has taken better men than me. How can that be? Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Just keep me where the light is. Come on, keep me where the light is. Come on, keep me where the light is. Come on, keep me where the light is. I'm driving up 85 in the kind of morning that lasts all afternoon. I'm just stuck inside the gloom. 4 more exits to my apartment, but I am tempted to keep the car and drive and leave it all behind. 'Cause I wonder sometimes about the outcome of a still voiceless life. Am I living it right? Am I living it right? Am I living it right? Why, Georgia, why? I rent a room and I fill the spaces with world and places to make it feel like home. But all I feel is alone. It might be a quarter-life crisis, or just a stirring in my soul. Either way, I wonder sometimes about the outcome of a still voiceless life. Am I living it right? Am I living it right? Am I living it right? Why, Georgia, why? So what? So I've got a smile on, but it's hiding the quiet superstitions in my head. Don't believe me. Don't believe me when I say I've got it down. Everybody just a stranger, but that's the danger in going my own way. I guess it's the price I have to pay. Still, everything happens for a reason. There's no reason not to ask myself if I'm living it right. Am I living it right? Am I living it right? Why? Tell me why. Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you in the way you look tonight. Yes, your love.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be resuming the program in 5 minutes. This would be a good time to make your way to your seats. Once again, we'll resume in about 5 minutes. If you would make your way back to your seats.
Touches my foolish heart. Lovely, never, never change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Touches my foolish heart. Lovely, don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight. Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started into hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to
come. Best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine? You think you've seen the sun, but you ain't seen it shine. Wait till the warm-up's underway. Wait till our lips have met. And wait till you see that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing yet. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? Best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine. I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine. We're gonna drain the cup dry. Wait till your charms are ripe for these arms to surround. You think you've flown before, but baby, you ain't left the ground. Wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I draw you near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come, come the day you're mine. Come the day you're mine, and you're gonna be mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, if everyone would kindly take their seats.
My lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing somewhere beyond the sea. She's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond a star, it's near beyond the moon. I know beyond a doubt my heart will lead me there soon.
If everybody could take their seats, we're going to do our last two inductees now.
Happy we'll be.
All right, we're going to resume our program now. Our next inductee is an individual who is an All-American defensive lineman, a four-time All-American in wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the video screen for Michael Blair.
From the class of 2006, in the sports of football, wrestling, and track and field, Michael Blair.
There's a lot of things that I admire about Michael. His work ethic, his ability to lead by example, and his ability to be humble in times of tremendous success and tremendous attention from other people. Mike was a quiet leader. He lived by the creed best stated by legendary Plymouth Regional High School football coach Chuck Lenahan. Today, boys, we're going to do our talking with the pads. Mike did just that as he led Plymouth Regional High School football to a 42-1 record in the 4 years of his high school football career. It was brought to my attention by a NESCAC football coach that Michael was often triple teamed during football games. But when it came to wrestling, it was mano a mano. His athletic ability, combined with his qualities and character, made Mike a force in one-on-one sports, such as wrestling. When Michael became an All-American as a freshman at Trinity, his mom, Glenna Blair, gave us an All-American certificate. But I didn't know if she knew, but I think I did, that Michael was going to be possibly a 4-time All-American. Mike's mom had a tremendous amount of influence on Michael when he was younger and deserves a lot of credit for the man that he has become. Commitment, discipline, strong work ethic, respect, leadership. There's no doubt Michael has all the qualities of a Hall of Famer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Blair.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to be here. Couldn't be here without all the coaching throughout the years of my playing days. It's funny. I started wrestling in 6th grade because I didn't make the basketball team. And my first wrestling coach was a Wesleyan grad. His name's John Lacrosse. He was my guidance counselor and a real good positive influence early on in my life. Randy Cleary, my high school wrestling coach. Again, more than just a coach, a friend, an older brother of sorts, and a leader and a mentor, and someone that helped shape my 4 years at Plymouth Regional High School, and led me to Trinity. And my 4 years at Trinity was really special. Coming out of high school, they showed me the love. They wanted, to encourage me to play both sports, football and wrestling, and that was my passion. And Coach Briori had a big influence on me attending Trinity, and Coach Amato also, two big influential people, that helped me make it through Trinity, and also played a positive influence in my life. I'd like to thank Coach Devaney as well. He hired me as a grad student and gave me the opportunity to come back to Trinity, be a coach, and further my education. Kind of jumping around. Coach Gatos, he was assistant wrestling coach, and he pushed me in the wrestling room all 4 years. And it was a lot of self-determination, and also a good group of guys to help push me in my goals while at Trinity. It was a big push. Coming out of high school and going to Trinity, and I was the big focus was the opportunity that Trinity provided, and also living up to that opportunity and making the most of those 4 years. And that was that's something I lived through those 4 years, and something I always will have to look back and remember on. I'd like to thank my teammates. There's James Creed, Matt Glass, Jared Carrillo. I think coming out and supporting me in my introduction. And, again, I'd like to thank all the athletic staff and their dedication and all the individuals that help put together this program and make it a memorable one. So I'd like to thank everyone that came out tonight, and really hope everyone enjoys their homecoming weekend at Trinity and in Hartford. So I'd, again, just like to thank all the coaches. Too many to really thank, and that's motivation for me, to be a part of younger people, younger generation, and provide that passion and drive that a lot of other coaches, were there and provided for me while my time at Trinity and also at Plymouth. But, so one more time, thank you, and I hope everyone has an outstanding night. Thank you.
Finally this evening, we have a Bantam legend whose 41-year career and nearly 50-year association with Trinity have been the cornerstone of our women's athletics program. Please join me in celebrating Robin Shepard.
Being honored as a coach in the sports of field hockey, women's basketball, and women's lacrosse, and as an athletic administrator, Robin L. Shepard.
I think with Robin, it was preordained that she was going to be successful at anything she did. She happened to be an athlete coming through high school and college in the 70s, and things were really changing for women in sports, obviously Title IX. And I think the opportunity at Trinity, all things happening at the right time, at the right place, and the right people bringing her in, gave her the platform for incredible success. Once she was offered the position of coaching 3 varsity sports in 1974, Robin was off to the races. Robin's kind of ageless. She's got great magnetism and charisma. She can relate to all ages. She is all in when she's talking to people. It's a rare gift she has. And she has a phrase around this: whether you're an All-American or coming off the bench, I value you. What defined Robin in her coaching was the holistic way in which she approached the sports, the liberal arts education. She highly respected the fact that we were in school and we were student athletes. There is no record like hers in female sports, women's sports, or in sports at Trinity. And yet it is all with this huge underpinning of humility. Robin Shepard is Trinity Athletics.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robin L. Shepard.
Okay. Thank you, Betsy. Your comments were as special as you are. Congratulations to all our new Hall of Fame class of 2022. It's been wonderful seeing you all tonight. And because I was supposed to be here last year, I appreciate you letting me crash your party. Thank you to Drew for hosting this event. We're so sorry Joanne couldn't be here, but I hope she's feeling better. And even though I retired, Prior to Drew and Joanne arriving on our campus, I have been called off the bench a couple times to work on a couple initiatives, and I just appreciate being included as a small part of your Trinity team. And others who have been already thanked, but the Hall of Fame committee for sure, videographer John Holt, who does an awesome job, and the incredible work of Lindsay Micah, who's kept us all on task through many emails. To be inducted into the Trinity Hall of Fame is a huge honor, and I'm speechless. Not really. I'm not really speechless ever. So my biggest challenge will be fitting 41 years of gratitude into, well, before they play the music and get the hook to take me off. For those of you who know my backstory, and many of you do, let's be honest. Trinity took a major gamble hiring me in 1974. Fresh out of college, a physical education major, they hired me to be the head coach of field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse, and I had 0 coaching experience and got cut from basketball in 9th grade. I would also be able to live in a dorm, teach classes during the day, take graduate classes at night, and my salary was going to be $94.96 a month. That's a win-win in my book. So at the fearless age of 22, I drove my Ford Pinto from my hometown in South Jersey, and I arrived on Trinity's beautiful campus. I had my Trenton State PE blazer on with my patch, my lanyard, my whistle, and I was ready to be a bantam. Within Ferris, there was a sea of supportive male coaches, but Jane Millspaugh, who many of you remember, she was my sole female mentor. Jane was hired in 1971, 2 years after we accepted women, and she quite literally created the women's programs from scratch. Although there was another woman in the department that made a daily difference in my life and in the lives of many of the early female athletes. A shout out to our equipment manager, B. Ruby. We could not have accomplished what we did unless she pinned our socks to our t-shirt every single day. If you lost that pin, it cost you 25 cents. As I look back, it seems that the guiding principle to establish the women's sports program was the exact opposite of the Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner: build it and they will come. Our motto was, they're already here, let's figure out what they want to play. Under the leadership of Athletic Director Carl Kurth, it was obvious to me that he and other male colleagues at Trinity wanted sports to not only take hold, but to thrive. I could not have survived coaching basketball without my trusty assistant, philosophy professor Drew Highland. Coach Don Miller gave up his freshman football field so that my field hockey team had a practice and a game facility. Basketball coach Roby Schultz and I shared the Houston gym at the same time, prime time, 4 to 6. And our dear friend, Chet McPhee, donated his old lacrosse jerseys that they were going to throw away to those early lacrosse teams so they had a uniform. I know it's hard to fathom that we got excited about those things, but we were being acknowledged as Trinity Bantam athletes, and we were getting to play the sports we loved. We had other super fans that were critical to not only the growth of women's sports, but the immediate success of women's sports, particularly when it came to recruiting. Then Director of Admissions, Howie Muir, would call me during the day and say, Robin, I'm interviewing a stud. Would you like to meet her? I'll send her down. And she was a stud. Jerry Hansen Where's Jerry? Jerry Hansen, he would call me about the incredible talent in the Philadelphia area. You already met Kat and Lindsay. And guess what? He already knew their families. And guess what? They were coming up next week, and they wanted to meet me. Benny Williams and Jim Witters did the exact same thing in the Boston area. So between those folks as my recruiters and the women who wrote, the high school athletes who wrote handwritten letters on real life stationery, asking me about the program and telling me they wanted to look at Trinity, and me mimeographing copies of flyers and hanging them all through the dorms, inviting, encouraging, begging women to come try out for our teams. That was pretty much my recruiting strategy, and somehow it worked. My coaching philosophy was going to be pretty simple in the beginning. Remember, I had zero experience. So I thought, well, I'm going to imitate the things that my coaches did that I liked, and I'm going to not include anything I didn't like. I am still scarred from a high school field hockey game where my coach, Miss Morgan, yelled in front of my teammates, friends, and family, "Get the lead out, Shepherd." And the most embarrassing part of that is I was running as fast as I could. So with never embarrass my players as a starting point, my coaching philosophy matured as I hope I did. I truly believed, as most coaches do, that each one of my players, the starters, the non-starters, and boy, those kids who never got off the bench, that they just wanted to contribute to the program in any way they could. And they wanted to be valued for those efforts. And they wanted to know that I cared. I honestly tried to do that at every practice, in every drill, in every pre- and post-game speech, and we pulled out all stops at our banquet. If I accomplished those things over my years, then I would consider that my most cherished victory. To all my field hockey, lacrosse, and there's a couple basketball women in here tonight, I want to thank you for being such kick-ass, multi-sport, talented women, for your patience as you and I traveled our journey together, and for your loyalty to me and to Trinity. Any relevance that I have been giving over my career is really a testament to you, because without you, I'm just a raspy voice on the sideline. I thank you for giving Trinity Sports a tradition of memories and success that will never, ever be forgotten. Please know that when our current athletes walk into competition, they carry your legacy of fun, fight, and passion into every contest. I would really like it if those field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse women could stand so we could thank you. To my colleague, Rick Hazelton, you were my partner in crime, and you have remained my friend over time, and I thank you. To the folks sitting at my table tonight, I'm not sure what you call somebody when you're both in your 70s, but my boyfriend, John, my smarter-than-me sister, Susan, my venture buddy, Sue, my coaching pal, Mike, and his wife, Carol, and the Fab Four, who got to sit at the grown-ups table tonight. Betsy, Ginny, Spitty, and Parks. Thank you, guys. Lastly, I'd be remiss if I just didn't remind you how much I loved this job. Scott already mentioned this earlier, but out on those fields, Being caught in the light as the sun set over the long walk was a gift every single night. And if the carillon bells rang, it didn't matter what drill we were in, everything came to a halt. Even my whistle was silenced. It was awesome. In my 40 years on campus, I learned numerous lessons, but it wasn't until I retired that I learned my most valuable lesson. And all the alums in this room already know it. You can leave Trinity, but Trinity will never leave you. Thank you.
Congratulations to all of our honorees. This is an amazing celebration of the best in Trinity athletics and the best of the Bantam spirit. Another round of applause for all 7 of our inductees this evening. This is just such a wonderful reflection of the impact Trinity can have on people in our community. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. Please join us on campus tomorrow for a full day of activities with 4 home sporting events, and it all begins at 10 a.m. On the tent on the practice fields with the Power of Bantam Women's celebration. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening.